Hello everyone, hope you're doing wonderful today. Welcome to another video. Today's video is a small introduction to UV resin. So UV resin is a kind of synthetic resin that can be cured within minutes using a UV light source. So I want to talk about the basic differences between the standard two-part epoxy, and the most visible difference is that UV resin comes in a single bottle, whereas two-part epoxy comes in two bottles. One contains the clear, one contains the hardener. So for UV resin, you do not need any kind of external catalyst or hardener for it to cure, whereas for two-part epoxy you need to mix the clear and the hardener, and then only it will cure. To cure UV resin, you need a UV light source, whereas for two-part epoxy, you do not need any kind of external light source. Resin is expensive compared to two-part epoxy. So this one is a 60-gram bottle and it costs me 800 rupees, whereas a 1.5 kg epoxy bottle costs around 1500. So yeah, really costly here in India. Last but not the least, UV resin cures in about 1 to 15 minutes depending on the UV light source, whereas two-part epoxy takes 24 hours to cure. Let's move on to the basic tools that are needed in order to get started with UV resin. The most important tool, I think, is the UV light source. Sunlight is not really available everywhere, so the next best thing is a UV lamp or a UV torch. I prefer the UV lamp. UV lamp comes with a charger which can be connected to an electricity source, and it also comes with a stand, so you can just place it on your work desk and put your piece with the resin under it and cure it, whereas UV torch you have to hold it by hand and it works on batteries. So apart from the UV lamp, mold, colorant, you also need the other equipment like gloves, some disposable cups or silicone cups, stir sticks, respirator. So I'm actually using UV resin for the first time, guys, so we'll start off with something simple. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a pop socket mold and I'm using some random colors. The colors that I'm using are resin dyes or resin tints and alcohol ink. So I read somewhere that any color that you use for epoxy resin works with UV resin. Not very sure about that, but this should certainly work because these are colors specially made for resin. So I'm just taking a few random colors, pink, blue and purple, and mixing it with the UV resin and just putting it randomly into the mold. So once I put all the colors and embellishments, it's time to put it under the UV lamp. The UV lamp comes with a charger, a cable like this, charger cable like this. So you connect one end to the UV lamp and the other end to, if you have got an electric source nearby, connect it like so. If not, connect the other end of the USB cable to a power bank like this, or your laptop, whatever you have in hand. So I've connected it to the power bank because my plug is a little bit far away, and then you got to switch on the power. So a single switch, the LED will light for 1 minute. A long press, the LED will light for 120 seconds. At the end of the timer, the UV lamp will switch off by itself, so that's one of the reasons I prefer it. It's away from you. As you know that resin heats up when it cures, so with UV resin it's at a much faster rate. So once it's cured, you will notice if you touch the bottom of the mold, it is very, very hot. So at no point of time should you touch your hand or finger to check whether it's cured. So take a skewer or a toothpick and just press it on the resin piece to see if it's cured or no. If it's hard, then it's probably cured. So since it's really hot right now, I'm going to leave it aside to cool. So meanwhile, we'll do another resin piece using UV resin. So this is an open bezel, as you can see. So UV resin is actually preferred in this type of open bezel. So what you have to do for this is use clear tape as an adhesive on which you can stick this open bezel. So you have to put the open bezel on the sticky part of the sellotape. Okay, so stick the open bezel like so. So now you can put the UV resin inside the pendant and then use the lamp to cure it. So I'm going to put some dried rose petals and gold flakes, and then I will put it under the UV lamp for 2 minutes. On an average, UV resin takes 2 to 3 minutes to cure. Meanwhile, the resin in the pop socket mold has cooled down. Okay, so it comes off easily. So you can put 2-part epoxy on top of this to make it more durable. So the pendant has cooled down, and I'm going to remove the sellotape from the base. So slowly remove the sticky tape. So I'm actually observing that there's a little bit of sticky resin on it, so probably didn't cure properly. So what I'll do is put another layer of thin layer of UV resin on top of it and cure it for at least 2 minutes. Okay guys, so everything is cured. Final impressions, it's okay. I would use this to make small items like jewelry, earrings, pendants and keychains. So personally, I would put a thin layer of epoxy resin on top of this to make this more durable. Would I be using it on a regular basis? I don't think so. Mainly because it's really costly. For a small bottle like this, 60 grams, I would go through it really fast if I use it on everything. Secondly, it has a smell. It has a real acidic smell, and I don't think I want to be around it often. So yeah, please use your respirator and make sure you're working in a well ventilated area if you're using this. You cannot use this resin to cast deep molds like this. At a time, I think just 2 to 3 mm, maybe 2 mm. That's all you can do at a time. So yeah. So I don't know if there are different qualities in UV resin. It's not widely available here in India. So please do let me know if you have worked with UV resin and whether it has the acidic smell. That's all for today guys. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe, comment, like and share for more videos. I'll see you soon in the next one.